So thank you very, very much, and congratulations to all our honorees. You did an exceptional job, not only in what you do on a daily basis, but you all look very good on video. So I know that always comes with a bit of trepidation. I want to recognize someone who's in the audience this evening who has had a very, very busy and productive year representing the profession that we all respect and honor, but also a representative from Wakefield High School and Arlington Public Schools. She was our Teacher of the Year last year, not only for Arlington Public Schools, for the entire state of Virginia, and that's Michelle Cottrell Williams. Michelle, would you please stand and be recognized? She has been extremely busy and done a tremendous job in not only representing the state and Arlington, but also the entire teaching profession. So we're very, very proud of you, and you've had a wonderful year. So congratulations again. So I'm going to ask Principal Keisha Bogan if she would do a favor for me and make her way here to the stage and join Mr. Tim Cotman. Mr. Cotman is our Teacher of the Year. He is a Minority Achievement Coordinator at Jefferson Middle School. And while Ms. Bogan is making her way to escort him out to the middle of the stage here in just a minute, we are going to run a little videotape on Mr. Cotman and some of his thoughts he would like to share with us about being Arlington Public Schools Teacher of the Year, but also the role that he plays at Jefferson Middle School.
It's important to me that students see themselves in the curriculum, that they feel empowered, that they have access to all the opportunities that are out there. I feel like part of my role is to make sure they do have access, to connect them with these opportunities, training parents so they know their rights and responsibilities, working with staff members, particularly on culturally responsive teaching strategies. So all of those different things make up what I do.
Mr. Cotman does a lot of things to help people. He's also very joking and funny too. So if you're looking for a little pun, little joke, something like that, he's always there. He's pretty funny.
I'm originally from Charles City County, Virginia. I came up to Northern Virginia to go to George Mason. While there, I started tutoring with the Early Identification Program. I fell in love with working with students. Then I decided I was going to be an English teacher. Richard Powell, who was the supervisor of Minority Achievement at the time, knew me from the EIP program, and he had told me about this position. I still had a year left in school, so I couldn't apply for it. But he did help me get a job at Swanson as a teaching assistant. I was there for 4 months, and then I got this job in May of 1996 and have been at Jefferson since then as Minority Achievement Coordinator. When I got this position, my father said to me, you need to make sure you finish your teaching certificate, because when budget cuts come, your position will be one of the first to go, because people don't even know what that is. And through the years working with my colleagues, there are definitely times when people are not sure exactly what we do. And I would just say to that we work hard to make sure, as much as we can, that the school is an equitable place, that kids that are often marginalized do not feel marginalized, that they are able to take advantage of everything that Arlington has to offer. We understand that this is not something that the group of us can do alone, and it is a system-wide effort. However, I'm proud of the work that we have done over the years of my colleagues, and I feel that we have made a difference.
We used to talk about like what we did, how we're going, grades and everything, and he's a really nice teacher. He supports us and what we need.
When I first got in middle school, I was kind of nervous, but he really helped me, and he showed me different activities to try out, so I was less scared. Well, I think a lot of kids have really good talents. They're just afraid to show it. So he helps people figure out to be more confident, and it's really helped me.
When students leave Arlington Public Schools, I want them to be inspired. I want them to know how to reach the goals that they set for themselves. I want them to be happy. I want them to be healthy. I want them to respect people who are different than they are. I want them to be good global citizens. I want them to understand how we're all connected, and that when they have things they believe in, to stand up for them and to lend their voice to causes to make the community better.
You got straight A's last quarter. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So there are things that we do as educators that we may not know how they've impacted students, but just trust that we are making a positive impact.
That's good. So now that you've made straight A's, are you going to continue to do it?
Yes.
Because
my
now we know
goal.
you can.
Can I ask Mr. Tim Cottonman to be escorted to the center of the stage? And school board members, if you would please join me in welcoming Arlington Public Schools Teacher of the Year. So, Tim, I have had the pleasure and the honor to work with you since arriving here in Arlington Public Schools, and there are marvelous comments here from some of your colleagues, from your Carolyn Clark, who supervises the Office of Minority Achievement, from your principal. But in reflecting on having worked with you and seen you work very closely on a variety of projects, I think the thing that I respect and honor the most is your sort of even keel, your steadiness in a storm, regardless of what that presentation may be, and your fairness. I think you've worked on a number of things with challenging racism, with courageous conversations, with minority achievement, many of the conferences, and I think you lend such a confidence to all the individuals you work with, especially our children, that makes you a standout, and that's why I believe this year you are our Teacher of the Year. So congratulations. Now, as we like to, give you an opportunity to share a few words with us, and then we're going to get a picture here with the board, as well as the other nominees and colleagues that are behind you.
Good evening. Buenas noches. Let me start out by thanking God for all the blessings He has bestowed upon me. I am honored to have been selected the 2018 Arlington Teacher of the Year. APS has phenomenal educators, and it is humbling to be among those recognized this year. I feel that this recognition validates and affirms the work done by so many in Arlington Public Schools and Arlington County around issues of equity and diversity. Congratulations to all of the honorees this evening. While reflecting on my personal feelings and beliefs about teaching, I thought about two experiences I had in college. I was enrolled in a 300-level English course. Our assignment was to select an article and summarize it. We were then to present the summary to the class. My professor stated that part of the assignment was to critique one another's work. It was 1992, and I selected an article from Time magazine that was about race riots. The article compared riots during the 1960s to riots that had just taken place after the Rodney King verdict. I was drawn to the article as an African-American male who was coming to terms with how I felt I was seen by society and during a critical time in my racial identity development. The main idea of the article was that though there had been race riots during these different times in the history of the United States, progress had been made during the almost 30-year span between them. The day came when we were to present our work. I was the only person of color in the class of 13 students. I was the last one to present that day. I went up to the front of the class and read my summary of the article. When I looked up from my paper, I noticed that everyone seemed to be looking down, and it was eerily quiet. There was not a single person who was making eye contact with me. I waited for the feedback from my classmates. No one said a word.
The professor reminded the class that part of the assignment was to provide feedback and that it should start with positive feedback. Still, the room remained silent. After more prompting from the professor, one of my classmates said, you shouldn't assume that everyone thinks the way that you do. The professor defended me by stating I had presented a summary and not my personal opinion. Another classmate said, you should not have selected such a controversial topic. There were not any positive statements at all. Class ended and everyone began to leave. One of my classmates whispered to me as she left, I think you did a good job with your summary. I wondered why she had not spoken up during class. Initially, I couldn't understand why my classmates responded to me that way. Then I became disheartened because I felt that they heard Rodney King verdict and their minds shut down. They saw a young black man presenting a summary of an article whose topic made them extremely uncomfortable. I did not want to speak up in any class after that. I felt that I had been emotionally beat up and blindsided. I felt that my classmates had taken one look at me and thought they knew all they needed to know about me and my views without even getting to know me. I thought they would have been open-minded, but I was wrong. That experience, combined with others related to being one of a few students of color in classes, left me feeling disconnected and isolated from the learning community I had chosen. Fast forward several years to when I was working on my master's degree. I took an English methods course taught by Dr. Humbertson. It was the best class I've ever taken. Dr. Humbertson had a way of making every student in the class feel special. He created such an environment that I went from being shy and reserved to often sharing my perspective. I honestly felt that I did the class a disservice if I did not speak up. This wasn't because I felt I had such wonderful ideas. It was because we were a community of learners and I felt we owed it to one another to engage in a way that benefited the community. We were each contributing and learning from one another. I believe my classmates felt the same way. During the last day of class, Dr. Humbertson presented each student with a personalized note. Mine read, Tim, what happened? You started off this course so quiet and then you just came alive. Thank you for sharing your perspectives with us. After reading the comment, I shared the experience I had had before when I felt ostracized in that 300-level English course and how this class allowed me to reclaim my voice as a student. I'm forever grateful for that experience. I believe that education is meant to empower, to give voice, and to affirm. I believe students should feel what I felt in that course on a daily basis. I am rewarded when I see students working to their potential and growing into their own. I'm rewarded when I facilitate a seminar and educators come to a greater awareness of how to unlock that potential. I am rewarded when families have a greater understanding of how to advocate for their children. I take pride in learning from others as much as I can. I'm interested in not only assisting students in fitting into the system, but in having the system fit the students. I work to create opportunities for students and their families to share their voices. With strong relationships and an environment that allows them to be their authentic selves, students will excel. One of my colleagues at Jefferson, Mr. Anderson, placed a sign outside of his classroom 2 years ago. He had downloaded it from Teaching Tolerance website. We now have them throughout the school. It reads, "This school welcomes students of all races, ethnicities, and nationalities, students with diverse abilities, students who are LGBT, students of all family structures, students who are English language learners, students of all religions and no religion, students from all socioeconomic backgrounds, students regardless of their immigration status." Who are our most marginalized students and families? Who are our most vulnerable? Whose voices are we missing, and how do we ensure they are heard? I would like to thank my family and friends for all of your love and support, my colleagues at Jefferson for your unwavering dedication to our students and their families, my OMA family for inspiring me with your courage, my students for the privilege of working with you and learning from you, the community organizations that invest time and energy within our schools, and families who partner with us to make our schools even better and who are the students' first teachers. Thank you.